What's up, guys? Dr. Ryan Gray back with another video about secondary essays. This time we're going to talk about really how to start writing them. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel and click that little bell notification so that you find out when more great videos are coming at you. All right, so let's dive into how to write secondary essays, or how to begin thinking even about writing them. In our last video, we covered kind of the timeline of secondary essays and what they are and why they are important. So let's really dive into how to write them. Now, we talked about secondaryapps.com. Go there first. Think about the #1 school that you are most interested in going to. So let's go to secondaryapps.com and look at the school where I am on faculty, University of Colorado School of Medicine. Now, one of the questions that they want you to answer is about fit, your experiences and how they fit with the school's mission. So we talked about this in the last video. You really have to understand what the school's mission is and whether or not that fits with you. It doesn't matter if your stats line up with that school. If you aren't a good fit for that school's mission, then you shouldn't apply, because schools are looking for that. They're looking to see if you are going to be a good fit for that school. So think about, as you're going through the process, adding these schools, are you looking at their mission and really determining if you are a good fit? And then from there, think about your experiences. What are you bringing to the table? Not how motivated you are and dedicated you are, because that stuff doesn't matter. It's what experiences have you had to give back to the homeless for a school that wants to serve the homeless? What experiences do you have in a rural setting for a school that wants to help physicians get out into a rural environment? That is very important. So as you're going through this process, as you're creating your activities for your primary application, you're thinking about each of those activities and how they fit into the bigger scheme of life. So go through your activities, figure this stuff out. That's how you start to think about writing them. And then when it comes to actually starting to write them, start at that #1 choice. Look at their list and start answering the questions one by one. Now, some people will advise you to say, hey, write a diversity essay, write a hardship essay, write this kind of essay. And I don't like that advice because I think it's too generic. Right? Again, thinking about the school's mission, I'd rather you write a specific essay for that specific school. Now, the essays are going to start sounding a lot alike as you write more and more of them, and that's okay. But remember that the school's mission should be kind of first and foremost at the heart of what you are thinking about. Now, questions about diversity. If you are a white male like I am, I can still bring, and you can still bring, diversity to the class. Diversity doesn't have to mean you're born in a different country, your skin is a different color. Diversity just means what experiences have you had in life. So don't run away from those types of questions. There are other questions that will ask about hardships. Not getting into medical school your first time is not a hardship. Not doing well on the MCAT your first or second time is not a hardship. Medical schools see it all the time, and they wonder whether or not you've really been through a real hardship to be able to handle adversity when it comes in medical school or residency. So don't write about those things. Think about your life and what you've been through. We've all experienced hardship. Really dig deep and think about it. Now, depending on when you are watching this video, hopefully it's early enough that you're still doing your activities. And you can reflect on your activities by journaling about them. That's one of the best ways to have stories to write about when it comes to writing your secondary essays. So if you can, journal. If you can't, if you're later on in this process, start journaling now, even for the future, maybe even for your residency interviews and applications. But really try to reflect on each of your experiences and what they've meant to you, because that's how you're going to draw out the best experiences for your secondary essays. Remember that you want to start early with your secondary essays. If you don't pre-write your essays, you're likely going to get all of your secondary essays within several days of each other. And that is a lot of essays to write at one time. And as we talked about previously in the last video, Some schools will have deadlines, and you will start missing those deadlines if you aren't pre-writing. And so you're just wasting money by having a pile of papers or pile of emails sitting there waiting for you to fill out an essay that you just don't have time to get to. So really focus on pre-writing those secondaries and getting to them as soon as possible. And one of the biggest things that I haven't mentioned yet, but I really want you to pay attention to, is don't repeat stories from your primary application in your secondary essays. Some schools will say, hey, what are your activities? You can copy and paste them here, and that's okay. But if you're answering a question that wasn't on the primary application, don't reuse a story. Every opportunity that you have in your primary application, your secondary application, and your interviews is another opportunity to show the school who you are. And repeating your answers just tells them maybe there's not a lot of depth to you. So don't reuse stories from your primary application in your secondary essays. So to recap, secondary essays, very important, right? secondaryapps.com, find out what those essays are. Really do some research into the school's mission. We actually have that on each of the school's pages where those secondary essays are. We have the school's mission statement there and a link to the school so you can dive in and do some more research. Really understand who you are and how you fit in to each of those schools. Don't forget to hit that bell notification to find out when we release another video. Thanks, guys.